Hi, and welcome back to the Count to 10 podcast. My name is Simon Sanborn, and I'm a behavior specialist teacher, and I do this podcast to see if I can help increase better communication between people, a better understanding of behaviors, and how those behaviors can affect our relationships and our communication. So this podcast is kind of an idea just to kind of get out lots of ideas and maybe perspectives of the books I read or the people I've listened to or the things I've seen, documentaries, stuff like that, that really has a lot of data-driven information. As time goes on, I become more and more kind of obsessed with how data guides our thinking, especially when it comes to teaching. So, I collect data every single day for my students. But the main idea is to see if we can figure out what the function of all these behaviors are, if there's a way that we can intervene ahead of time, what can we be proactive about to see if we can help our students be as successful as possible, because that's all we really care about. We want them to be successful, we want them to be happy and healthy human beings, and that's our goal. So we work really hard at trying to make sure that happens. So that's what I'm gonna talk about today, and this is pretty much for teachers, but I think it could probably be useful as well at home with your own kids. I had a really wonderful conversation with one of my associates, and I'm very lucky that the people that I work with are very open and understanding about my approach to things. And I think part of that is that I ask for their feedback. I can't do my job without the team that surrounds me, and my associates are pretty amazing. So they're with the students a lot during the day. They give me a lot of really great perspectives and understandings that I might not see because I'm not with them every minute. I tend to help put out fires and teach, specifically design instruction on social skills and executive function skills. So I don't see all those interactions all the time. So they're very important to this program for it to be run successfully, because they feed me all that information. They also feed me ideas. So this week I had a conversation with one of my associates. They were, again, very open and understanding, but I kind of all of a sudden had this revelation. It's going to sound kind of silly, but we've gone down this little rabbit hole from time to time, and maybe it's just a human being thing of being so punitive. And so I guess you would think that in a behavior-focused classroom, that's what we're doing. We're holding them accountable for their behaviors. They're suffering consequences for their behaviors. But that's not just what we do. So that's an aspect of kids not following the directions they need to be following and getting in trouble and things like that. But mostly what we do in this room is try to generate a lot of love and care and understanding, if possible, and do that even in the face of a lot of behaviors that to everybody else would sound pretty horrible. So, and I've had people in the past, this has been a while, but I've had people in the past say, you can't allow them to speak like that. They can't do this, they can't do that. And my response was always, I don't think, if that was possible, I think we probably would have already done it, stopping them somehow from saying those things. They say them. They say terrible things to each other, to us, but that's a function of their behavior. They are in a behavior program for a reason. They have a hard time with that self-regulation. They have a hard time with, having the reactions, matching what's taking place. We broke our pencil, so we have a small problem, and then we have this enormous reaction because we broke a pencil. So we're trying to get them to understand those things better. That's what we do in this classroom. So I just started realizing that, the year's winding down. We have a lot of work to get done, a lot of testing to get done, and I could feel us being a little bit more punitive in the classroom. Kind of like, for lack of a better, I'll just give you a really simple example would be, a student is working, then he puts his book away and he sits back in his chair and says, I'm not doing this anymore. And so instead of, what we had kind of started doing was, you need to get reading. We need you to get this work done because you still have this work from yesterday, and we still have the math from 2 days ago, and we're backed up. And so just heaping that pressure on, and it's all pretty negative comments. You didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. So heaping that amount of pressure on, I don't know about you, but sometimes, it's my job relied on it, and I got a bunch of stuff heaped on me. I would just do it